I want to go straight to Ben. And he read it right away. And like I said, however much you're like able to direct. And he was like, it fit in that he was able to do the first 4. And then when we were casting, when we were looking at who do we want to cast for Alex, it was like, well, actually, why doesn't Ben just play Alex?
I'm excited to get to talk about this show. It came out of nowhere on my radar, and I've really enjoyed what I've seen so far. How did the concept for this show really start to come about for you?
It started about like 8 years or so ago as I wrote a feature that was about about Sam and his parents go to a resort, and over a week he strikes up a friendship with this older couple who eventually became Emma and Noah. And there was no mystery involved in that one. It was just like, it was kind of just like a little indie coming of age story back in, again, like 2014 or so. And then it didn't work. It was not very good. So I put it away, and then it's the thing that I couldn't quite like quit at all. I would just go back to it every single year and like try to look at it through a new lens, try to blow it up, try to like reimagine it as like a totally different thing. And it just kept on not working. And then eventually, I realized like maybe 2019 or so, I was not only looking at the relationships that inspired the original story, but also the script itself through this nostalgic lens as like something that I was like trying to like recapture, but I was now like 8 years older or 7 years older, and my life had changed, and the world had changed drastically at that time. And so I blew it up and just split those characters up over these 2 timelines, where you have a married couple who's trying to, solve this mystery about what happened to these 2 missing young adults, but also trying to solve what happened to themselves in the past 8 years or so, or I guess 15 years in the story. And so there's a mystery baked into that, and then mixed in with all that are just my thoughts on nostalgia and the true crime industrial complex, and my love of disaster movies and mystery movies and comedies and the writings of Jorge Luis Borges too, where like those all became like filtered in to all this, and so it became this wild show that takes some big swings.
So with all of that said, then what were some of the biggest challenges for you trying to hone in all of these various genres and ideas into one story?
Biggest challenges were like I'm always trying to think of like the audience perspective here, and I never want the audience to like be ahead of what's going on. I don't want the audience to like predict what's going to happen. And I hope that by the end of the first episode, you definitely have no idea where the show is going to end up. I'm pretty sure about that by the finale, because it takes a major left turn, obviously in episode 4, but those left turns don't stop, and so it's a ride, kind of a roller coaster ride of sorts. We're more of a log film, I guess, or there's some drops and some chilled out parts, but I'd say that was like, so keeping that was the hardest part, is keeping it, trying to balance where like how much the audience knows and how much they don't know. So like I know that I'm as an audience member, I always feel the most excited when I know I'm in good hands, where I don't know what's going on, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I'm in really good storytelling hands. And it's those feelings that are so rare to have as a viewer, where like you truly have no idea what's going to happen next, but you're totally like locked in for the ride, and that's the most exciting part about anything we watch. I think anything I watch, and so I'm just trying to do that, trying to recreate that feeling. They're trying to do our best to hit that feeling. So.
Well, I think you've captured it really well in this show. As much as I love the entire cast, I'm also a big high maintenance fan. So to see Ben get in front of the camera as well as behind the camera for the show is great. How did his involvement come about for this one?
I love high maintenance. I remember it was back in film school when I was first working on the earlier feature version of this, like 2014 or so. That Max, the director of Palm Springs, he showed me the web series, and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." And I became a big fan of it then. And then when it came on HBO, I was a huge fan, and I never missed an episode. And I would just take little screenshots or I take pictures of the screen when like they had really great credit sequences, like just like end credit things where there's one where he's like swinging from this like moon chandelier thing over a club, and just images that just make you feel something, and can I think he has such a great handle of like tone where you go from silly to sincere, and then back to silly, and then back to sincere and sad. And so when we were looking for directors last year, I like, if I can have anyone, like I want to go straight to Ben. And he read it right away. And like I said, yeah, however much you're like able to direct. And he was like, it fit in that he was able to do the first 4. And then when we were casting, when we were looking at who do we want to cast for Alex, it was like, well, actually, why doesn't Ben just play Alex? That makes perfect sense. And I mean, you've seen like what he does to this part, and it's so specific, but I mean, to me, it's like, it's like this kind of midpoint of the show that the whole show shifts on around like what this wild character kind of this ingredient that character brings to it all. And I think he just, he nailed it. And so it's just, yeah, but ultimately it's because I'm a huge High Maintenance fan, and I wanted to work with him. So.
Well, that's amazing to hear. I can't wait to see what comes from these final few episodes. So thank you, Andy, so much for taking the time to chat. I really do appreciate it.